And we're on up here.
Greenwich Township Committee meeting, April 19th, 7 p.m. This meeting has been advertised in accordance with law.
Roll call.
Mr. Bean?
Here.
Mr. Cron?
Here.
Mr. Marqueta?
Here.
Mr. Dorsey?
Here.
Mr. Spencer is absent at the moment.
Yep. Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Okay, open public comment. Joe, were you trying to do you intend to make a public comment? No? Okay, so I don't think we need to go through that. Payment of bills. Looking for a motion to pay the bills. Everyone had a chance to look at the things. Let's do the motion first, second, and then we'll do questions and comments.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second. Questions, comments, discussion.
Okay,
No,
you go.
No, you got it.
All right. Kathleen, real quick, though, as I was signing the Republic bill and everything else like that,
Yep.
are we overlapping bills because they had a balance?
Overlapping, what do you mean?
You know, are we, like you were paying this month's bill, but they said, which was $236, but we owe them like $800? Is that just because it's cross?
Yeah, there's separate POs for those. I may be waiting for a signature, or it may just have skipped in there.
Okay. Nobody from Open Space is here, so I can't ask that.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, the bills that were in there, I know that we were waiting for approval from Open Space before, I'm assuming because they were in the basket that they've been approved by Open
Yeah,
Space?
they're approved.
Okay. And then, Mike, one quick question here. Viking escrow, and I know it's the escrow, but there were two bills in there that were actually dated, from July of 17, just showing up now.
No, well,
Talk to me.
Can you tell them how hard we worked on that?
yeah, as a matter of fact, it was this case of a delinquent, deficient escrow account. So we were chasing, those bills were, the dates are correct. We were going after the applicant between Kathleen and I, for months and months.
Okay, so
And he finally, actually, it was a big surprise, like all of a sudden, he sent a check to my house, payable to the Township of Greenwich. And I opened it up, I'm like, holy mackerel, he must have woke up on the right side of the bed, whatever day it was.
Okay, I just saw the dates and I was just, curious.
It's a fair question.
Thank you.
Way late.
I had a question on this BlackRock, bill. I'm not familiar with all the history of this. I got a little bit of filling on it, from Mr. Lavery, but can you help me understand this one, Mike?
Sure.
So,
I think it's, be able to easily respond.
all right, okay.
All right. We awarded the 2016 roadway resurfacing program bid contract to BlackRock back in 2016. And at that point, we were using this kind of a new technology that's called hot in place asphalt recycling and repaving, where they basically they churn up the top and then they reapply it. So we started, and we had to do a bunch of testing and all this other stuff. Won't bore you with the details. They basically got one road finished, which was Stones Crossing. And at that point, there was an issue relative to the method of resurfacing, whether it was going to be micro surfacing or a standard overlay. It was a delay in the project. Winter set in, and that kind of stopped. Now, then they come back to us and they say, we don't think that your roads are good candidates for the balancer contract, for this type of procedure. And which, at that point, that discussion should have happened months and months before this. So I said, well, we disagreed. We talked to other vendors. We absolutely did not buy into what they were saying. So we were at a loggerheads. They didn't want to come in to finish the job because of what they were saying about our roads, and so we were at a stalemate. Then we went out to bid on the 2017 resurfacing program, which we ended up using the co-op. So we ended up basically taking the leftover monies from the 2016 resurfacing program and the 2017 monies that were budgeted last year, put them together, ended up repaving all of the 2016 roads, which were in the Black Rock contract, and the 2017 roads.
Okay.
For less money. That's the key to this. Okay. So, that's the whole picture. So, they knew what was going on, and they didn't really take exception to the fact of what we were doing. They just wanted to close out the contract. Attorney Lavery and I worked together to basically prove that the township saved money by going the route we did, and therefore was all we needed as far as the basis for not continuing with the contract with them. Okay. So at this point, all the roads are paved. They haven't worked in a year. They just want the contract closed out. Fine.
Okay.
Okay. Every voucher and payment request that is paid, whether it's Thomas Stewart Park, the roadway resurfacing, etc., there's a retainage that is held, typically 2%, if the contract's over $100,000. So we had a retainage held from the one voucher we did pay them for, which was at the end of 2016, which equated to $2,800 of retainage. What was it? Whatever the bill is, the $2,800, and that's basically we're giving them that money back that they rightfully are owed. Sorry for the long-winded answer. But
So it's the retainage, but they walked away from the contract.
Well, not, they
They didn't want to finish the job.
They didn't want to finish the job,
How do you want
but
to
they
word it? I
basically
mean,
said-
but they had a contractual obligation to finish
Yes.
it.
Yes, in essence, they did.
So when they left, did we incur additional professional fees to figure out how we were going to finish the 16? Like, you had to do some additional engineering work because we had to go to the co-op, and Mike, I don't know if, or whoever was at the time working it, had to incur some additional attorney fees. So are we deducting that from this 2%? We aren't. I think the answer is no,
The positive
right?
side of it is, there was no money left in the capital projects from last year, so I had told Mike in preparation for 18, we need to deduct that off of whatever we're doing in 18, because I don't have anywhere else to charge it.
Yeah, which is a separate accounting question I have, but
I think for the rest of the discussion, we probably go to executive at the end of the meeting and discuss strategy as to what position.
Right. So I would like to pull that invoice then from being paid.
Okay.
We could talk about it more.
Okay, Paul, you have some questions? Are you done?
That was the only, just a question, and I don't know if Kathleen, you would know the answer. The one, we have this contract with CGP&H for the co-op work, and in the binder and also on the bill, which is why it's related to the bill, it has the dates. It says August of 17 to
Yeah.
August of 8. Why is it August of 17?
It was not presented to you at the time it should have been. For renewal.
Okay.
They got a hold of me. I said I would take care of it.
Okay. That was all I had on the bills.
Okay. Paul, you have something?
No, I already had mine.
Okay. So let's do a roll call on the present motion, and then we'll do the second one with the accepting that.
So you want to kill this one?
We're gonna kill this one, yeah, so.
Okay, Mr. Bean?
No.
Mr. Perrin?
No.
Mr. Marqueta?
No.
Mayor Barsney?
Now we're looking for a new motion to pay the bills with the exception of, what was that, Black Rock? Black Rock.
Make a motion to pay the bills with the exception of the Black Rock invoice.
Second?
Any other questions, comments, or discussion on it? Roll call.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Perrin?
Yes, but I have to abstain from PO number 18-00481, which is a,
300,
I'm sorry, 18-00481, which is clock keeper fees, because through the
I wonder who that was.
wreck, yes, that's my son.
Okay, so you motion, Frank seconded it, Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr.
And I
Perrin?
said yes with the extension on that
Mr.
PO.
Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna jump out of order here. Beth, you're here, you're ready to go, we'll take you so you can be on your merry way. I guess the easiest way to do it is, I'll ask for a motion to adopt the ordinance. We're gonna second, and then we're open it for questions, comments, to discussion. We're asking you to explain pretty much the, resolution, okay? So, I'm looking for a motion to,
Or do you maybe want to explain first before the motion? No?
well,
No matter, okay.
I'm looking for a motion to adopt ordinance, number 2018, you're gonna have to put the number in later. Ordinance of Township, Greenwich County, of Warren State, New Jersey, adding chapter 27, affordable housing, to the code of the Township of Greenwich to address the requirements of the New Jersey Superior Court. I'm looking for a motion for that.
I'll make the motion.
You want a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. I guess our question is, can you explain this to us?
I'll be happy to. So this is a typical affordable housing administration ordinance, I would refer to it as. It does not create a new zoning district or call for new units for affordable housing. There are other mechanisms that do that. This simply regulates those existing affordable units that you have in town and any that may be created in the future. And it also puts all of your relevant affordable housing standards in one location. So as you go through this, it includes some history and some background on affordable housing as part of the general program. But what it really does is it goes on, it identifies standards for income distribution of affordable units to make sure there's a proper number of low-income versus moderate-income units, making sure that your low and moderate-income units have the proper bedroom distribution, include 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms, that the units are marketed appropriately, that they're phased in appropriately. So if the project is approved with market rate and affordable units, you want to make sure that the affordable units actually get constructed. Although, again, it doesn't identify any locations in this ordinance, it makes sure that should those projects be approved in the future, you have the regulations on the books to make sure that they are built and they are marketed so that the township gets credit for them. And that's ultimately the purpose. Yes, it's about administering the units properly, but really at the end of the day, it's about making sure that any affordable units you have now and that are built in the future are eligible for credit so that the township can meet its affordable housing obligation. And I also said it puts all of your affordable housing standards in one place. It also takes your development fee ordinance standards that are elsewhere in the code and relocates them to this location so that if a planner or an attorney or a developer is interested in what Greenwich has to say about affordable housing regulations, it's all in one convenient location.
Were we required to do this anyway from that court decision also?
Yes.
So I wanted to just make sure that
Yes,
was
thank you. And, as part of your settlement agreement that this committee entered into with Fairshare Housing Center, as part of this process of going through and getting our housing plan approved, you're required to administer your affordable units in a manner that is consistent with the Council on Affordable Housing, that is consistent with Uniform Housing Affordability Control Rules and the Fair Housing Act and all the relevant case law out there. And this is what that does.
I know the land use board attorney, Jonathan Drill, reviewed it and sent his recommendation for adoption. Mike, did you review it, or do you have any input on it, or it's all land use?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions or anything up there?
The only question I had is this something that all townships are adopting?
They better. I would strongly recommend that every town in the state adopt. I mean, this is the model that my firm and a couple other places use, but if it's not literally this ordinance, it's going to be one that says virtually the same thing.
And then you were saying that there were other ordinances that are on the books that this captures now. So does that mean we have to do something with any of the other parts of the ordinances that are on there?
It's all contained right in here.
So if there's redundancy, there's not an issue that we, and I'm asking Mike Lavery if...
It should be the same thing. I would think the next time the code, I don't know how often code is updated, I don't know what the contract is for that, but we'll probably, well, actually, I guess we stayed the
We
same.
did last year, yeah.
Yeah. I guess if you're looking up
Well-
affordable housing, you'd find everything.
I obviously don't know. Does this verbiage say in here, this rescinds and supersedes all previous?
Yeah, so for example, if you look at the first section, it literally says that a portion of it is repealed.
Okay.
And that's because we've basically copied and pasted it into this new ordinance.
Anybody else have any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Cron?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes. Do we have another one? We
Yep.
have to do here?
Well, we have a
We
couple
don't have tabs,
resolutions.
so I'm having trouble finding them in here, so.
We have 2 resolutions.
Wait till we go digital.
Do you have the other resolutions, so I can just
There were
read?
more towards the back.
I have 2 copies here, if somebody...
Yeah, if you could
I
bring
have
them
1
to
copy
me.
of each resolution.
I just want, when I do the introduction, I just need to read. Okay. Okay, I'm looking for a motion to adopt Resolution 2018, number to be determined by the clerk. Resolution endorsing the April 11, 2018 third round housing plan element and fair share plan, and authorizing and directing special counsel to submit the plans to the Superior Court Law Division with a declaratory judgment, action seeking approval of the plans, as well as a judgment of third round compliance and repos. Looking for a motion for that?
Make the motion.
Anybody want a second?
Second it.
Okay, our question again is, can you explain it to
Yes,
us?
I'd be happy to. So, as you may know, your planning board adopted the Housing Plan and Fair Share Plan just last week on April 11th. That is a necessary first step in this last phase of the process. The next step is this evening. And so, that resolution from this committee authorizes John Drill to take the adopted housing element and all of those appendices, for those who know, it's about 400 pages, and send it on to the court and ask the judge to approve the housing element and fair share plan. And that would be a, I don't want to call it quite the conclusion, because affordable housing really never ends in New Jersey, but it wraps up this latter phase of the process of having your housing plan approved by the court. And the reason why we do this is because it gives the township the ability to maintain that immunity from voters' remedy litigation, ultimately maintains the township's ability to control your own zoning and to plan if and where affordable housing occurs. The only way to seek that approval is to get this committee's blessing, your approval, passing this resolution, to send that plan and all the documents on to court, and then ultimately, as part of this, asking the court to do its review and presume approval of the plan.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? Again, the only thing I'll note for the record is the Land Use Board Attorney Jonathan Drill has sent us information recommending the adoption of this, so. Roll call?
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Cron?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes. Last resolution regarding this, resolution number to be determined by a clerk, resolution of the Committee of the Township of Greenwich, Warren County, New Jersey, of intent to fund spending plan shortfall for affordable housing programs in the Township Housing Element and Fair Share Plan. Looking for a motion for that?
Make the motion.
Frank's motion, anybody want a second? I'll second it.
Okay. So, this is one of those other required steps. A resolution of intent to fund is required for any municipality that has any project that needs to be constructed as part of completing the third round, which is what the housing element does. And so I don't want Greenwich, I don't want you folks to feel like you're being singled out and having to pass that resolution. It's something that is a requirement to asking the court to do that review and approval for the resolution that you just passed. What it states is that the township commits to advancing its affordable housing projects that are planned for completing the third round obligation. Now, included in that 400 or so pages of appendices is the spending plan. And the spending plan goes through, identifies the existing money in the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, projects what we might get through the end of 2025, and then tells the township and also the court how it is that you intend upon spending it. So the township has quite a bit of money. We're projecting through the end of 2025 that the township has about $1.3 million, and that $1.3 million must be used for affordable housing purposes. And so we've allocated the money to the 3 programs that you can put money towards. The first one is administration. You can put up to 20% towards administration, and that means paying folks like me, like John Drill, CDP&H that you just passed the contract for. It also puts money towards the 100% affordable housing project that's planned in the plan, and it puts money towards Greenwich School. So all the 2 projects that are intended to fulfill the entirety of your third round obligation are provided with substantial funds through the spending plan. What that resolution does is it states that if these funds are not enough to advance those projects, are not enough for the township to be able to fulfill its third round obligation, that this municipality commits to finding another way to fund it. A lot of municipalities will choose to bond, some will choose to take it out of general revenue. It's sometimes called a resolution of intent to bond. We've renamed it fund because there's no reason why the municipality would have to bond. You have other choices. That said, the financial decisions necessary for implementing your housing element and fair share plan are steps away from us at this point. So your 100% site, your Greenwich Schools site are still in the infancy of development, in that the township still needs to issue an RFP, you need to work with the developer, you need to find out what funding may or may not be required from them in order to implement the plan and to complete those housing projects. But at the end of the day, as I said, it's necessary in order for you to have that plan approved by the court. If it's not submitted by the court, in my experience, that the judge is simply going to require that the municipality go back and adopt a resolution after the fact. If you want to maintain that immunity, you can go with resolution.
Just one quick question. On the COLA funds themselves, how, Mike could probably answer this too, how did the money get in there to begin with?
Well,
And you had a contribution for like if the builder was building something?
Right,
They had
just want to get it on the record. So once that's depleted, how does that fund get rebuilt?
well, I mean, the township is continuing to collect development fees, and in the affordable housing ordinance that you just passed, it provides for continued collection. If we run out of money, quite frankly, at that point, then we need to talk about, I mentioned two choices for implementing your plan. It's general revenue, it's bonding generally. The other alternative is the township would need to think about whether or not you want to proceed with the plan that's on the books. There is an option to try to pivot and seek different compliance mechanisms, perhaps in context of this conversation, those that might cost the township less money.
Okay.
And this third round is how many? What's the obligation as far as units?
So the township has a
Up to 144, right?
total obligation of 100 and, third round obligation of 204 units. However,
Subtracted, yeah.
there are quite a few units
Credits.
carried over from your existing affordable housing projects, and then we're looking to this 100% affordable housing project to complete the entirety of the remaining obligation.
So if you applied all the credits, it would be 144, was that the number?
Around 140, 144, yeah.
Oh, 144 units at that site, yes.
Right.
At the site?
Yes.
But the
I think that was the
obligation-
question.
But the obligation is 200.
Yes,
for
so
third
the
round.
obligation
Yeah.
is 204, and the reason why that project is only 144 is in part because there are 29 credits that you guys carry over from the Greenwich Chase project. That project includes 70 affordable units. The first 41 fulfill the entirety of your prior round obligation, and then we get to carry over 29 into the third round. Also, the township is eligible for 51 bonus credits, and that is because your 100% project is a rental project. As a result of that, you're eligible for a portion of your obligation of these bonus credits, and then the remainder is for this 144-unit project. That said, the plan provides the township with some flexibility because it states that we're going to pursue the Greenwich School project and see if we can create some affordable housing out of that. If we can, that should give us the ability to reduce the size and the scope of that 100% project. And so there's flexibility built in there in order to reduce the size of that project down to what this township needs to meet that 240-unit obligation. So we had to, by virtue of the settlement agreement, plan for that maximum number of 144 units, but we do so with that caveat of flexibility.
And in there, even without the school, we have the opportunity to use some other credits to drop it to like 122 or something like that.
Yeah, without the school, we can still bring this down to, I think you might be right, 122 credits, and also gives the township the ability to, if other projects come up between now and then, sometimes towns discover group homes, sometimes group homes come to municipalities. You can reduce the size and scope of that project to the extent that any other opportunity might arise. But I think really the biggest opportunity is to facilitate the Greenwich School, and then ultimately just reduce the size of the project down to really what's necessary, and
Right.
going above and beyond that.
And you said this is, what's the date that this has to be completed by? Is it 2025 or 2020?
The
2 years.
end of the round is 2025, but through the settlement agreement, the township needs to pursue this. There's no maximum deadline for those units need to be in place, but it does require that the township go forward and seek funding for the construction of the project on orderly schedule. I think we have up to, the township is given the ability to apply for funding 3 times. Those are offered roughly once a year. One will be offered this year, which just by virtue of the time, we won't be able to apply for. And then one will be offered next year and the one after. So the township has a minimum of, a maximum of 2 funding rounds for which you can apply for, which is standard these days. It's likely that those 2 funding rounds will be held in the next 2 consecutive years. Assuming you get either the first or the second round of funding, it'll then be another year or 2 to allow for the construction process.
Just one last question, Kathleen, John, if for whatever reason we were to need additional funding and it was to go through the general fund, is this something that is outside of the caps, or is this something that you have to finance within your capital budget?
I would think you have to come up with a number of which we're looking for annually. If this is a project that you're doing, you could get it outside the capital section type item.
Like a bond outside the cap.
But you can also go out and bond for it as well. I didn't see more of what's going on just here in the highlights here, but you're going to have to come and let me know what the whole project is.
So by definition, is it a capital project? I mean, because it's not, it's kind of gray. I mean,
My experience in Alameda Township, they have affordable housing that is outside cap.
it is.
Just, are you done, Brad?
Yes.
One other thing to note on this, I know people have been reading the news on what happened in Princeton, that they didn't settle their affordable housing to the courts. I think what the builder or developer took them to the courts and...
They opted not to settle, and so the town actually took itself to court and told the judge, we can't settle on what our number is, so we're going to go through what ended up being a 40-day trial on the matter.
And they got hit pretty hard.
They did. They ended up with a number, I think, that was larger than what they said.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is that, Beth and John did a great job for the town in getting us this deal. I mean, it sounds like a lot of units, but in actuality, it's a really good deal for the town.
It was discounted by 30%.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they did a really good job, just want to point that out.
And that decision, I will say, that was decided for Princeton and West Windsor only. There have been some experts that took the decision and extrapolated it to municipalities around the state. And I'm sorry, I don't recall the number off the top of my head, but the number that was done for Greenwich, consistent with that decision, is significantly higher than what we settled for. So if you had waited, tried to get a trial, assuming you would have been the same result, which is possible, or a similar result, you would be in a worse position than you are today. So, good job. This has really worked out to your benefit.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Roll call?
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Peron?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes. Thanks for everything, Beth.
Thanks, Beth.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. I got it on now. Okay. Okay, looking for a motion for the introduction of an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriations limit and to establish a capped bank. You're going to sign the number for that too later? You going to make the motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Questions, comments, discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Peron?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes. Okay, I'm missing one here. Next one is a resolution to, take it. Where's the COLA? I'm not finding that one.
Yeah, actually, I didn't understand that.
Should be at the beginning, somewhere at the beginning.
Oh, did I do the COLA? That was the COLA I just did, okay. So now I want to do the one for deferred school tax resolution, whereas the local district school tax for the fiscal year July 1, 2017 to June 30, 2018 was raised in the 2017 tax levy in the amount of $10,982,349. Whereas, we're going to defer that tax in the amount of $2,652,249 as of December 31st. That's correct, right?
That's correct.
Anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Questions, comments, discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Crum?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes. Third resolution is self-examination of the budget resolution, whereas the NJSA 40A:4-78B has authorized the local finance board to adopt the rules that permit municipalities with sound fiscal condition to assume the responsibility normally granted to the Director of the Division of Local Government Services of conducting the annual budget and examination. Anybody want to make that motion? I'll make the motion. Anybody want to second it?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Questions, comments, discussion?
What is this?
Every third year, the state does a full examination of your budget. Actually, for the last 2 years, the state has asked to see your budget based upon the condition of records from years prior. You are in a year now where you are eligible to review your own budget. You still have to send all the documents down to the state, but they don't do a lengthy review on it. When the budget comes up for a hearing, you don't have to wait for the state to give you their blessing. You have it because you have the self-examination resolution passed.
So, that's all you have to do is pass the
All you have to
resolution?
do.
And is this the first time we've done this?
And because since I've been here, it's been state review every time. You're off their naughty list.
That's good. Thank you.
Next is a resolution.
We have the
Waive
roll
to
call?
approve.
Roll call, yeah.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Crum?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes. Resolution for the agreement with CGP&H LLC as our affordable housing agent. It's just a professional agreement with Beth, who was just here at her firm. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Any questions, comments, discussions on that? Roll call?
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Crum?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes. And last, I have a resolution authorizing the redemption of tax liens as listed on the sheet. Anybody want to make that motion?
Which one? I'm sorry.
Tax liens.
Oh, I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Questions, comments, or discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Crum?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes. Okay. Rich, you want to come and give the police department report?
Okay, good evening. The monthly report. Call volume 1,152. We had abundance of applicant processing, a lot of firearms applicants, 9 for the month. Large amount of burglaries and thefts, actually more or less thefts from the shopping malls. We had 17 there. Larger number of domestic incidents, assaults, 6 for the month. And a little bit higher number of first aid calls, 29. We had a pretty big problem with juveniles, so you'll see that number is a little bit higher maybe. And that will reflect actually a lot of reports assigned to the Detective Bureau. It was 13 reports, and a majority of them were juvenile incidents, including harassment and assault. For the 13 assigned were closed out. Our traffic tickets, 181 for the month, 11 parking tickets, 126 warnings. Our total arrests were 13 for the month, 2 juvenile arrests, and 3 drunk driving. Your attached overtime report, you'll see significantly lower from last year. Year to date we're about at 50% less as opposed to last year's time. about roughly 15,000 down from last year. Well, that would conclude the report. And I'd just like to thank Gideon and team in Brown for attending our community outreach program last night during school. For those of you who couldn't make it, there are going to be other ones throughout the county through the Chiefs Association. If you, it's pretty good to go, see, and they're going to be within various jurisdictions throughout the county. The next one, I believe, is going to be in Blairstown, I believe, next month. There's going to be one in Lopakon and Phillipsburg for the remainder of the year, so a little bit closer for you. And although it was a little bit of a low showing, I think it was good we had our community leaders out there and pushed out some pretty good information for them. The last thing I just want to say is our Safety and Security Committee bring all the paperwork up for that, so I anticipate that as soon as they get everything filed with the paperwork at the state, that money should be coming in, $30,000 back.
I'd like to apologize for not being there last night. I had something come up and I couldn't make it, so, but I
There'll be
apologize.
plenty more.
Well, I would have liked to have gone was here with, to support your department, so.
I just want to say, thank you, Chief, for putting that on. I found it very informative. I thought the simulator was pretty intense, actually. But there's a simulator on a site where you could, it allowed participants to be put in a situation that the police would face, during an arrest or something like that, and it was pretty eye-opening. So it's one thing to sit back and watch the news and pass judgment. It's another thing to actually be in that situation, and it wasn't even real, and it was intense. So thank you for doing it. I benefited from it, and I brought my son, and he thought it was pretty interesting too. So.
Yeah, and I'd like to, same thing, thanks. I thought it was a good program. More people should experience the simulator. It would certainly enhance their oversight of what they've seen on the news.
Anything else? Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay. I guess we're going to look for a motion to appoint a municipal clerk
Mayor,
tonight.
sorry.
You want to wait for that?
My fault, I just have to take a step back. We actually need a motion to actually introduce the budget.
Oh, okay.
That was-
That's all matter.
It's all right.
That little tiny matter.
You don't have that on here.
Well, yeah.
I'll make the motion to introduce the budget.
Okay, we want a second.
I will second it.
Was it?
Well, let's have John explain it a little bit before we vote.
Okay, tonight is budget introduction. On May 17th will be the public hearing. That's when the public can come in and comment on the budget as well. Currently, your budget is under both caps. You are just below your appropriations cap, but you are well below your tax levy cap. So you are in compliance with state regulated caps. You are seeing an increase to your budget, to your local tax rate this year. Is just a little over a 4-cent increase. 1 cent of that was due to cost increase going up, and you made the decision, the hard decision, to say, let's put another 3 cents in there so we can start addressing our debt. You had, as a governing body, you inherited about $870,000 worth of debt that had not been authorized, but it hadn't been. You're addressing that, plus you're also addressing the issues that the capital items we purchased last year. So 3 cents of that 4-cent increase is directly going to paying down debt. What that means to an average local taxpayer, there will be about a $9.21 per month increase on an average home assessed at $272,000.
Any other questions or comments?
I just want to say thank you to Kathleen and John for working on it. I know how much goes into putting a budget together, and and also to the committee. I mean, we had lots of budget meetings and had to make some pretty hard decisions, but I think directionally it's putting us in the right direction as far as trying to get us to a place where we can finance everything affordably and without putting too much pressure on the residents. So, and as you stated, I mean, 1.5 cents of this is from non-funded borrowing that took place in 2015. So, I like to say that this committee is trying to meet its obligations of paying back, but we borrow, so and you have to pay it. So, just thank you for the work you guys did putting in getting it done.
Thank you.
Also important to note is the rest of that he mentioned was the capital projects, which was to catch up from a lot of things that have been neglected over the years. So, with all that being considered, I didn't think it was too bad of a budget, so. I echo Brad's sentiments. Thank you both.
Roll call.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Peron?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes. John wanted to leave?
Have a good night.
Hey, John.
Sorry about that, John. Thanks for everything. Okay. We had discussed, we need to appoint a municipal clerk. Paul, you want to go over what the hours and stuff will be before,
Well, there might be a slight change on Fridays, but for right now, Lisa has agreed to come in, Monday through Thursday in the afternoons, basically around 3 o'clock, and work till 7. And on Fridays for at least the next month, she's going to come in and work 8 to 12. She will be available for our town meeting on the third Thursday nights. And at that point, she will have had enough time to commingle her other clerk position and our clerk position to potentially change it into 4 10-hour days. But for the first month, this is where we're going to be at. She'll have a better clearing understanding of her obligation here at the end of the month as to what her hours need to be and where they can be. But basically, it's still going to be a 20-hour position.
I'm interested to see how well that 7 o'clock opening works. That 5 to 7, I think, is a lot of, working people, 2-hour window to come in after hours. I don't think it's such a bad thing, so. But anyway, do you want to make a motion to appoint Lisa?
Sure, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Lisa Bird as our municipal clerk.
It should be word acting, Mike?
Yeah, acting, okay.
I'll second that motion. Any other questions, comments, discussions on it? Roll call?
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Peron?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes. Okay, next, we discussed last meeting about authorizing a advertisement for the municipal clerk. Anybody want to make a motion to make do an advertisement?
I'll make the motion.
Any questions or comments? Second? I'll second it. Any questions, comments, or discussion?
Yeah, maybe for the purpose of the public, you could explain it, what this advertisement's for. Because I think they're sitting there, they see we just...
We recently had
appointed the clerk.
our former clerk of 25 years has retired and moved on from the township. So in the interim, we're hiring Lisa, who's the clerk in Bloomsbury, to help us out as an interim clerk and acting clerk. And then we're going to put an advertisement out to see who's available and who's interested in the position. And I think we're going to word it part-time / full-time, right?
Right.
So we don't know if we're going to do full-time or a part-time clerk, but we're going to advertise it both ways, and see what we can get as far as things. Anything else?
Thank you. Nope.
Roll call.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Peron?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes. One quick thing I have. I got contacted by the Legion. They were looking for one of us to be the rep for the parade committee for Memorial Day. I told them to put me down for now, but I already told you that I am not going to be here on Memorial Day week. I'm going to be out of town for a wedding. You want me to just do that? I mean, I don't think it has to be somebody who's going to be.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, I don't think you have to be here that weekend for it. All the planning will be done pre that. And to be honest, I think most of it's being handled outside of the committee anyway.
Okay, sir.
Is that a Saturday?
It's Memorial Day itself.
Oh, it's on
Monday.
Yeah,
Right.
on the Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, okay, well then I'll just do it. Okay, Paul, you're up.
I'd like a motion to accept the monthly court report. And I don't know what page it's on, but it is back there.
Yes. I'll make the motion to accept it.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or discussion on it? Roll call.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Curran?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
And then I would also like to make a motion to accept Bonnie Fleming's monthly tax collector report.
I'll second that. Any questions, comments, or discussion?
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Curran?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes. Anything else, Paul?
No, that's it for me.
Okay. Will's not here. Why don't we go ahead, and that way if he comes in the meantime, he can do it. If not, I'll go through his agenda items for him. So Frank, you want to go now?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to hand this off to Brad, about Thomas Stewart Park, fertilizer treatment update.
Yes, so we had a discussion about, getting a fertilizer treatment on the grass that's there at the park. If you guys recall, just to refresh memory, we did one treatment last year. The discussion came up, so what I had done was I reached out to Ray Buckwalter, who's chairman of the land use board, but he also has a degree in, probably not saying it right, but agri-science, and he's been in the industry for 30 years, so he's, in my opinion, professional in that field. So he actually went out, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, and walked it, took a look at it, wrote up an email, and, you know, I apologize, I didn't forward it to you guys. I did send it to the OS committee, but I forgot to send it to you guys.
Actually, you forwarded it to me.
Did I send it to you?
Yes, you
Okay.
did send it to me.
So, and he did a really nice write-up on what he thought we needed as far as the fertilizer treatment, because we were talking, did we want to do a pre-emergent, which is, you know, a weed preventer type treatment, but with the alt seeding bid coming in, he recommended that we don't do a pre-emergent, we just use a straight feeding, you know, nutrient-based fertilizer that wouldn't interfere with the seeding. So, what we need to do is get a soil test. So, before we do any fertilizing, because the soil test will tell us what nutrients we need and what mix to put it into. So, I went down to the county building today and picked up the soil test kit. We just need to take samples and send it in. So either, I don't know, maybe Joe, one of the guys can do it, or I can go out and do it. I don't really care, whichever. But it's just a matter of collecting some dirt, drying it out, and throw it in a bag and mailing it to Rutgers. But it has to be done through Rutgers, because Mr. Pinto had stated, who's our open space consultant, that with Green Acres properties, you're supposed to get a soil test every year, and it's supposed to be evaluated through the Rutgers program, so that's who it's through. So we'll do the soil test, we'll send it out, they'll give us a report back in a couple of weeks to tell us which fertilizer we need. What I thought we would do is to pass a resolution to authorize maybe not to exceed a certain amount to contract with someone to do the fertilizer treatment. I don't want to wait a whole month, because if we get the soil test back in 2 weeks, figure out what we get, we can get somebody in before the next meeting, then we can get it done sooner than later, because it's probably something we should have soil tested probably a couple months ago, quite honestly, so that we could have been in a position to put it down now, but we didn't. So that was it. I wanted to see if we could authorize, you know, something not to exceed. I think we'd have to get 2 quotes to do the fertilizer. And I think last time we did it, and I'm just doing this off the top of my head, I think it cost us around $2,000, $2,100.
Just right around 2,000.
Yeah, so I don't know if this is going to be more or less, but I thought
You
maybe,
don't need quotes. With the QPA, you can go up to 6,000 without getting quotes.
Okay.
So if it hurries that process along and you know somebody that you
well,
can do it, that's fine.
the firm we used last time was, I don't think anyone's going to do any better.
Well, but I am going to interject something, and you're right, price-wise, they're not going to do, but the piece of equipment they used, I thought was very aggressive
On the
on the ground.
Yeah.
It did leave what I thought was excessive tire damage. The machine they used was a little large. Now, mind you, the park was in its infancy, and there's more turf and things of that nature now, but they use the same piece that they use on farm fields.
Right.
A little bit. But, again, I understand the price. I do not know what a fertilizing company, be it True Green, is probably the next one that's going to be in the running because they have larger equipment. I just, when you're doing that, I would think about that, because I did think that the machine last year was a little aggressive.
Well, we can just get a quote, once we figure out what we need and if the quantities, we can go.
I mean, Mike, were you out walking the fields after that got done at the time? And, I mean, I know myself and Ray Buckwalter were, but...
I didn't see it when it was applied. I heard about it after the fact.
Right.
The equipment that they used, but, I saw some of the damage, but I think it was a little wet.
Well, I said, right, but again, the same piece of equipment to use the farm field, I don't know is necessarily the same piece of equipment that we want on turf, but I'm just throwing that out.
So we're looking for...
If they have a piece of machinery that says fine.
The motion would be to authorize a fertilizer treatment not to exceed whatever amount we think, is reasonable without having to come back and do another resolution. So, I mean...
3,000, up to 3,000?
Up to 3. I mean, if it comes in more than that, then we should probably discuss it the next month, but...
Okay. So you're making a motion to authorize quotes and a fertilizer treatment up to $3,000 at Thomas Stewart Park, which will come out of the open space fund.
Yes.
It's like, man,
Yes.
we're gonna look to potentially award the seeding spec later, okay? Which is clearly and plus I met with Jeff Mirthworks out there today, coincidentally, he's got some reseeding to do.
Right.
So that's two separate areas that are gonna get their own treatment and addressed separately. Now, so how's we gonna coordinate with, because this fertilizer guy should not work where our seeding contractor is going to be doing work, and/or where Jeff is going to be reseeding. So how do we? I mean,
Well, that's something you guys can work out among the open space committees and do it.
yeah,
I mean, we're just authorizing this motion up to
$3,000. We got
So,
a few moving.
did you get that motion from
It's the
Brad?
fields that are going to be untouched.
Anybody want to second his motion?
I'll second it.
Easy.
Any other questions, comments, discussion on it? Roll call.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Crone?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Longstreet?
Yes. Joe, were you in a hurry to leave? I'm sorry, I forgot about you here for Will's report. You can wait, okay. Go ahead.
No, this other was some historical commission. Mike, you had something on this?
No, I think I checked and saw that we actually have a historic commission in town.
There's Greg's here.
So, if there's another apparently there's a 501c3. Basically, the problem is, if it is the town's historic commission, then the money should be run through the town. Apparently, there's a 501c3 that was created that may be separate and apart from that, and that was what I checked and saw. We actually have an ordinance that creates a historic commission. But there's a 501c3 that was created that may be a historic society or maybe something else, but that was the issue. Well, I guess the question is, did you start is it the historic commission that started its own 501c3, or was it a separate society made up of residents to generate money for just a 501c3? The problem is if it's a town...
No, I understand.
Yeah. So, but I'm just telling you what I know.
I understand all those rules. Back, the only thing I can comment is that a 501c3 was formed prior to the town forming the commission. I'm trying to get to the IRS, and be able to get there, so to get the handle, because there's no documents. I mean, I have documents, but it's,
Are you the one that's been emailing me?
yeah.
I'm sorry, okay.
He's a guy.
So,
Greg Blaskett?
I'm sorry.
Oh, my God.
Now it's making sense. Okay. So why, if you were your own 501c3, why do you need our tax ID number then?
You asked me, do we have our own tax ID? And the answer is yes, we do.
Okay.
Okay? I think I was asking for the town's, I got it from Kim later on. So I could say, okay, it should have been under it's not the town's ID. It's ours. It's a separate federal ID number outside the town.
Okay.
So that's why I was trying to,
So you're not using our tax ID then?
no,
Okay.
we have a rule.
So if the commission was created after the society, what does that mean? Did that mean the town was trying to take back?
I have no idea.
I can tell you.
I did.
Jared, Gary, what?
Okay, I can tell you what I think I can gather that is that the town stepped in and they decided to do something. They never informed the people. They did eventually inform them, but they never said, hey, what are you guys doing? This is what you have to do. No, nothing was done. It was just like, okay, this is what we did.
When did it become when did the town do it? 20 years ago?
At least what
Well, what are we trying to get to now? What's...
Yeah, what are we
You
trying
said you were
Financial
running the
thing is
numbers
the only
for it,
reason
it
we
didn't
got
work?
involved.
Okay.
No.
So where does it stand?
So do you need anything else from us, Greg, or are you good now?
I still have to follow up with the Internal Revenue Service.
But what do you need from us?
No,
Oh,
I'm fine. I don't-
okay. Then you don't need anything
I
from
think the
him?
problem came up was there was money that Kathleen found and said, well, wait a minute, if they're the historic commission of the town, how are they having this money outside of
Right,
it?
that's
And
right.
then
Oh, okay.
the explanation is, they already had this 501c3, Kathleen thought they needed our tax ID number, apparently they don't, because they got their own thing, so he's gonna straighten it out with the
Okay.
IRS.
So you're good.
So we're resolved?
Right now, I'm
Okay.
good.
All right.
We're all
Right
good.
now,
Kathleen, do we have
I'm back.
a budget item for the commission?
Oh, the rest
Yeah,
of the
that's why
resolution
this
you're
whole
agreeing?
time,
Okay.
we have been putting $1,500 in, which I just give to them as a donation. And I forget how it came up, but it was like, well, wait, why are we giving that money to them if they're a historic commission?
Okay, so that's where the root of this is, because we have a $1,500 line item that goes to,
But then I get,
but we're actually cutting a check now to the society?
Yes.
Okay.
then how do in June, we collect the garage sales for the historical commission, correct? Right. How does that end up getting run through?
That was our
Because
fundraiser.
apparently what I've learned is Kim took the money and then just handed it to them.
That's our fundraiser.
No, that, I knew it was your fund, but I know it started at the clerk's office, so I was just curious how that, we just collect it and turn it over.
Well, up to about 2 years ago, okay, when everybody was a little bit younger. No, seriously, that's what it is, everybody's age. We would be here and collect the money. Then it became, because we couldn't, everybody's getting a little bit older, and then Kim said, people were coming in during the day, we went around during the day, and then she was just collecting it and they give us. That's it.
That's the garage sale permits, or is that
The garage sale permits,
the garage sale permit?
which takes place the week before the cleanup.
It's like June and
So
October.
that one has to get straightened out. That is the problem.
I thought you were gonna, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not anything you did wrong, it's something on our end that we got to straighten
No,
out.
we gotta, we finally gotta get it, I gotta get a.
Yeah, the town can't be collecting money for a third entity.
I didn't mean to throw the wheel into that, but I saw that.
No, but we cannot
Kathleen
take
and I are looking at
money.
each other's windows.
That's bad, very bad.
Oh, okay,
Well,
We're not trying to create problems, we're just...
Oh, it's okay.
that's something we'll have to discuss, but could we do something where, like, in order to get the permit, they have to come in with a check made payable to the historic, but do they take it that way, or are we gonna have to?
I think, once we get straightened out with the IRS stuff and figure out how the money's gonna be, whether it's gonna be through the 501c3 or through the
Yeah.
town, if it's through the town, it's not a problem.
Right.
And it's just, but...
Okay.
Or,
If it's through them, they need to do their own thing, to be honest.
Yeah,
Or-
and if it's a 501c3, then they would have to do one.
or it's through the town and you make an extra donation from the town in the amount that you collected.
Well, that's what I was just thinking, can it work that way, Kathleen?
You have to do a check, it's a whole process,
Oh,
because you can't accept a revenue that you have not budgeted for.
Okay. Well,
We'll figure it out.
yeah, can you figure it out and have it for next meeting, or,
Right,
are
Kathleen?
we ready? Okay. You're up, Frank's done, so you're up.
Oh, that was just a, there's other,
No, we took care of all the other ones.
done.
Yeah,
Okay.
those are all done.
Yeah, I don't have many items, I don't have an update on, rec, I didn't talk to, Mark, they had a meeting last night, but I didn't get an update on anything from rec, but the only item I have on the agenda really was a discussion about the vacant property registration, and, so, I know I keep bringing this up, but we have the forms, right?
We have forms,
We have the
and
forms.
we have a list of property addresses.
We have a list of property addresses, so the question is, do we have the correct lien holder, or whoever is foreclosed on these properties, to send these letters
Well, I
to,
think,
if they're all
Lisa will
foreclosed?
see if
we-
we have that.
This is gonna be one of Lisa's first
What happens
assignments?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Anytime a bank forecloses on property, they're required by law to send a notice to the municipality, to the town clerk, that they're foreclosing on that, which would have all the bank information so that we would be able to send the forms that we have to them. So, I don't know if we have such a file.
Anything, yeah.
Right, so, Mr. Pearl and I were talking today, and he said, you know, the tax collector should have the information on the lien holders.
I would hope they have.
No,
They must have something,
They don't,
right?
they don't?
Well, how do they get the payments then?
It's almost impossible for the keys to track down, so when you get this piece of email from a bank, it's full file that I get a copy of Larry in my house, the zoning also knows, and I get contact for property maintenance issues.
So,
But I mean, shifting gears away from the clerk's office, now to the collector's office, so because almost everybody's taxes are paid through their escrows, so their tax bills go to the bank, so the discussion we had today, the collector must have the lien holder, the bank's address, you know, the first, I would think. I don't know how hard it is to, because we can just give a list and say, can you give us the lien holders on the property for the collector? And I know that doesn't involve either of you two, but that's kind of
And
weird.
but often, once it gets to this point, and it's actually vacant, it's actually been given off to another bank, or another entity, that sometimes it's very difficult.
so, how would we handle it in a hypothetical situation here if the building caught fire or a car rammed into it and just, you know, damaged it? How would we get in touch with the lien holder? Would it become a police matter?
The worst
I mean,
case is, you know, you can do a quick search and just see what's recording on it.
right, so there's a way to get it.
Yeah, no, there's absolutely, there's always a way to get it.
It's
And
just
we
doing it
Probably,
cost efficiently,
yeah,
basically.
if you can't get it from the collector, you could do a search, and probably a title company go for like $25 each, because they would just go in and pull whatever the mortgage was on the property.
Okay.
Yeah, because you wouldn't be paying for a search, you would just be paying for a copy of the, whatever mortgage was. Now, of course, if the collector had the information, then of course we could save, you know, 25 times however many properties we have, with this decent amount. But we can do that.
Yeah, I think we
Yes,
should.
anything else?
I mean, there's, what was, 19 or 20 properties listed?
Yeah, there's a bunch.
You know, and those registration fees will cover the cost to get those addresses.
Oh, more than, yeah,
More than.
absolutely.
So, I think we should do this.
Well, and just to interject here, because we've recently got a complaint at 469 Route 519, and I went right to Eloise, and she was able to pull up on her tax records the bank that currently owns it, and that's where Larry sent the letter to. So in this situation, that is, and I think there's a handful of ones, and Joe, we kind of know which ones we're maintaining and billing, so we do have somewhat of an accurate list for a handful of these properties already, because the town is putting tax liens on them, because we're mowing them and maintaining.
Yeah.
We know we could, yeah, whatever the tax department can't provide to me, or we'll work together to see, I got the form, so we can decide if you can send me that, that'd be great.
But these have,
And then whatever ones we don't, it's, I can just go through legal, and just order the searches on those, and like I said, if there's 10 of them, it'll be like $250, so.
yeah, and it's, because, I mean, these things, some of them have been vacant for
What?
decades.
And
You know,
is
one
it-
over on Bradford, I mean.
Oh, yeah,
it
right.
infuriates the heck out of me.
But
so-
with that being said, though, isn't there, and again, I'm just trying to be quick with this, but isn't there an annual form that, and each year that it's left vacant, the fee for vacancy goes up?
Right, but we can't, you know, until we get this resolved, we can't, you're absolutely right, I think that's Mr. Peron's point.
Yeah,
Right.
because this should have been done since that ordinance was passed, and it
Yep.
hasn't been as complete.
Mhm.
So, you gotta get them out, get them on there, because this is going to hopefully push them to do something. And that's the whole idea. That was the only item I have on my list.
Okay. I'm going to go through Will's real quick. Looking for a motion to accept the Animal Control Officer's monthly report. Everybody have a chance to review it or anything?
Yeah, I read it, yeah.
Make a
I'll
motion.
make a motion.
Second.
Okay, any questions, comments, or discussion over it?
Only comment I had in going through the bills, and I saw those veterinary bills for, so if there's some costs in there, I mean, these are for, most of these are for feral animals, but if there's one that is a resident's pet, I mean, do we go back and send them the bill for this? I mean,
Yeah, I don't know the circumstances of that one. We got a bill for like almost $1,200 for a
Yeah, it is.
veterinary bill,
it was expensive.
and, without Will here, I guess we're,
Well, I'm not even sure, well, I mean, he may know a breakdown of it, but,
you know what?
I mean, it was for spaying,
It was-
neutering,
It was a lot.
an amputation of a
Yeah.
digit for a cat,
Well,
boarding for a dog overnight for $100.
yeah, I think it's a fair question and stuff, but why don't, I'll remind Will, and we'll try to get an answer for next meeting on that, because, one, we probably should be budgeting if we're gonna expect that type of expenditures, right? I mean, and I don't know, how much are we really responsible for with
Since I
animals?
started here, what I've seen is nobody's following up on the dog licensing. So you're not getting all the fees that you're rightfully entitled to. So, yes, you need to budget all this. Hey, your fees are not paying for your ACO, they're not paying for these bills. They should be.
But most of the stuff that I see in here is cats.
It is, most of it is for all
I'm gonna
cats.
ask a really, might sound like a silly question, but do towns have cat license ordinance?
Yes.
Some- They have a license for cats in Bloomsbury? I mean, the amount of feral cats in this town, it's just out of control.
And if you see them,
I don't think licensing will resolve that issue.
I don't know. I don't know how many of these are like, people just leave their door open.
You know what I'm
Oops.
saying? I hear what you're saying, but I don't know if it'll do anything.
I don't know.
But I don't know if it'll solve the problem, but it might solve some of the revenue issue that we're pumping out.
You're spending $1,200 on, vet bills for these.
But you're guessing it, you're wondering if that's somebody...
Well, no, I mean,
Over
I look
cat?
at you can look at the bill, there's,
We don't
it
know.
itemizes.
Yeah, it's
Some of
gotta
it's
be-
feral, but I don't know, some of it just says
Well, I just
dog.
couldn't imagine that we're paying...
Unless it was a
owners'
stray
bills.
animal and they found it. And
Well, then they have to reimburse, I would think.
Well, but if
We're not gonna
we
know
never
if they
found
have a
out whose it
license.
was.
No, I'm saying, yeah.
I guess it's just a, one.
We'll have Will look into it and find
Yeah.
out where,
That's-
somebody, we probably should have, we're gonna have to look into it.
I mean, it's not a small amount of money.
No, it's not a small
Where's
amount of money.
Costanza with the squirrel?
Yeah.
Small town problems.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I'm just trying to go through it in order where I can get it done quickly. I'll make a motion to renew the blue light permit for firefighter Jason Coulter, John.
We
Yeah,
need to
we made a
authorize the
motion, though, right?
DPW, I mean, not the DPW, the animal
ACO,
control report.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Roll call. Mr.
With
Bean?
books on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Barone?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes. I'm gonna make a motion to renew the blue light permit for firefighter Jason Coulter, John.
Second,
Anybody have any questions, comments, discussion on it? Roll call?
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Barone?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes. Will was approached by Nelson Tree Service. Are you going to cover that? Okay. Okay, so I think we can go to you, Joe. We'll start with the DPW report.
Good evening. Go through the DPW report, buildings and grounds wise. I'm still waiting for updated quotes. I got old quotes for the fuel management system for the town, and I'm trying to get updated quotes so we can make a move on that. As soon as I got them secured, I will present them so we can make that happen. The police department, we added a secure window for the secretary's office. The building energy assessment, had some meetings with the solar people, and we need to, this building energy, to change the LED lights and things like that. I'd like to get approval to have that done, because that'll lower our kilowatt usage, and that will lower how many, if we decide to go solar, that'll limit the size of solar panels or the amount of solar panels. So that would be an important part to move forward. That part there was They would handle the grant, and also in there, I copied a paper that all these energy outfits and the outfit that we got the quote from is recognized as a state contractor to do this work. It was like $30,000 altogether. Our part would be $7,000.
Any follow-up on the solar?
Yes, we've had a meeting today. I had a phone conference last week. The gentleman couldn't make it. Rescheduled that for next week. So we are in the process of doing that. Right now, there's the two options, and just briefly, one is the town owning it. The other would be you'd end up paying a fee for the time we have the solar panels. So that's going to have to be a way out. I got thinking about it after the meetings, and this is where it comes in. If you buy them, when we're talking about capital, outside the cap, in the cap, things like that, right now our electric bill is an O&E item, and it's at 2%, but it's probably one of them things go up. If we buy them, you go outside of that, and then what your electric bill is can be added to your budget. But that's something to think about. It's already in there under your O&E operations.
So two things I just want to interject. On the so you're saying the conversion from fluorescent to LED, just that piece was $30,000?
No, that also includes replacing 2 HVAC units. The office area of this building is actually 3 systems. Got the police department basement downstairs, which is fairly new. This area here, this unit here is about 10. The office area is original, 1977. This area and the office area would be in an energy upgrade. So that includes that.
Okay.
And that, like I said, that includes all the lights, that includes motion sensors in the office, downstairs in the police department, so lights ain't left on all the time. They'll time out unless somebody's in there and things like that. That'll help save our energy bill by not needing someone to shut off the switches and stuff.
On the solar, a couple things. One is, Frank Pinto actually is, so Frank Pinto is the consultant on the OS. He actually has a lot of experience in solar,
Okay.
in solar installations, and he's worked with townships, so...
This is new, and I'm in the learning curve here myself.
Yes, maybe what I'll do is I'll just send him an email with you on it and say,
Sure.
you guys can talk a little bit, because
Yeah.
he did mention that he has some background, history, and experience in that stuff, so maybe get another perspective there. And I'll just add this too, is that when I was on the school board, when the school was looking at entering into either purchasing a solar installation or going into what they call PPA, a power purchase agreement. Obviously, the school one was huge because it was 2 buildings. It was going to be like a $4 million project, and we obviously didn't have the capital to do that. So we entered into what we would do is basically a leasing agreement.
Yeah, well, like I said, right now, and just some of the numbers that I've seen is with that lease deal thing, it's a 20-year, 21-year that we're making the payment. If you bond it and you bought them 10 years, you own them.
Yeah.
Now you're saving that money.
I think there's another option too. It's where they would put the solar on, they take some of the electric, and we get a major discount on our electric. Something like that, where you don't have to lease.
Well,
right?
that was the thing. That was the deal. That's what's considered as a lease, but it's, the figures are, and it all depends on our usage, and we're not
So you don't-
at that point to discuss.
Yeah, that's another option. If you don't own the solar, you're not going to get 100% of it paid for, but you may get a major discount.
Yeah,
But you don't have to
the-
invest in the,
Yeah, the way the school one works is the school didn't have to put out a
Right,
dime.
exactly.
They didn't put a dime
Well,
out.
that's exactly one.
All
of
the engineering,
Yeah.
everything was covered by the owner
but they're
of...
taking part of the power,
So
aren't
they
they?
would basically just use your roof,
Yeah.
and then what your obligation is, and the school's obligation is 15 years, you have to buy electricity from that power provider. So the PPAs, that's, you're purchasing it, and it's, projected over the 15 years to be less than what you would be paying
Right.
JCP&L, that's where, or whoever your power company is.
Yeah, there's a
So
few
there's a
different
that's where the
options.
savings, is you allow them to do it, because they're getting the SRECs, they're getting all the benefits of, the credits that you get for all, the tax incentives and all that kind of stuff, you don't have to put any money out, but you have to buy the electricity from that. Then there's also a clause in there you can write where you have the option to buy it from them after, say, year 7 at a steep discount because it's been depreciated. But there's a lot of things. So if you ever, I have a little bit of history on it, but
Just look
you know,
into it.
yeah.
But
So
we're doing, but like I said, I think our first step is to get the building energy efficient first.
Right.
So we lower our kilowatt usage here and, to move forward with that. And, like, I got the original quote from Not Only Energy, that they did the write-up of the whole, the energy audit of the building. And they're the people that it's based on using for this, like I said. And in our, we have an energy account there that's about 15, I think we said, Kathleen, 11 or 15, that would cover our costs in doing the conversion to the facility. But we get that project started and completed, and then we can really have direct numbers to the solar, for the solar that by lowering our energy costs there. So,
They might even add, I don't know if it saves the roof too. I think it adds that.
well, one discussion we had is that they would have the roof inspected first to see if it's viable to hold it.
Yeah.
We're called, that's another issue that all of it's,
True.
and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but they would, this contractor we talked to today said that they would bring in a guy to do a whole roof, and if they feel it's unsafe or it's not going, even though that would cover the roof, if it's gonna flex or be too much weight for it, that we have to upgrade the roof, that would have to be in our consideration. And what I've seen with his array, it is this whole building, plus they got a row or two on what's the ladder truck carport out there right now for what kilowatts this building alone is using.
did they add the new building?
No, I don't have a new enough and a big enough draw of electricity on that. We're just occupying it in end of January. So we don't know what our max kilowatts are utilizing that building so far. Okay, so we got that, and then, like I said, we had the meeting. And I don't know if anybody wants me to just discuss the Thomas Stewart Park mowing quotes and stuff. Would you like, I listed it on my report.
It's up to these guys.
Hold it
They want-
there, or you want to just hold off on that?
Yeah, go for it now, or-
Whatever, is it on the,
I have it on my DPW report.
it's on your report, but is it
Yeah.
on here to, do we have to pass a resolution to authorize? Well, we already passed the resolution to hire a part-time individual. Right, we did that one last time.
Right.
Well, that was the advertised, wasn't it?
That was to advertise, yes.
Yes, and we didn't utilize that.
We have some scheduled for executive for that.
Okay, very good.
Okay, and then, do we need, we don't need to authorize anything else under the park, right? We're good?
No, I think was the open space going to present their thoughts on the Stewart Township Committee, or who we're gonna have do this?
I think you pretty much recommended to use the DPW.
Yeah, the recommendation, the OS recommended that we use DPW
Okay,
for a bunch of reasons I outlined it in the
okay.
email for this.
All right, the other thing, we're taking care of the baseball fields and things like that. I do want to mention under the buildings and grounds thing, myself, the landscaper, and the head custodian met at the school. School had a couple issues with the mowing last year, so we addressed that, and everything was fine. So that was all taken care of. Emails were exchanged between myself, Maria, and our landscaper, so everybody's on board, and he's on board with that. So that's been all addressed and taken care of.
Yeah, I just want to say, Joe, thank you for taking care of that. So
You're
I got
welcome.
a nice email from the superintendent that, yeah, you guys met, and seems like everything's in order, so she was happy, so.
Okay. The paver's been lined up for the Thomas Stewart Park. I found a 6-foot paver. I got 2 quotes. Jesco was the least expensive. I got it lined up for the week of May 14th, when the weather pending.
Mr. Vesco.
So, and the other towns have already been asking, so we'll be ready to go as long as the projects that where heavy equipment ain't running across them paths are done.
Joe, I have a question for you on the path. This came up in our last meeting. If we would ask the town to maintain it in the winter, how do you determine if it's covered in snow, the flow of the path?
It's almost gonna be like street, we're gonna have to put road markers out there, like the ski slaloms.
So what do? You do that before the you do that right before the winter
We
season?
go to roads that way too, we go out and mark the roads where
Okay.
we would run off or into a ditch, things like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's part of the winter planning then.
So,
Yeah.
can I ask a question, for Mr. Finelli? So, you've got this lined up for the 14th, is there flexibility in that date?
Yes.
How
Yes.
much
I've
flexibility?
already, there's flexibility, he's gonna get in touch with me a week and a half prior to it,
Okay.
so, because I told him, I'm waiting for other projects to be completed and where we are.
On your end, but we can't, no paving's gonna be done if, the contractor does not dig out the pathway. So can we give a directive?
Well, no, that was very interesting when Joe dropped that date, and I was going to speak with him about it. Obviously, our contractor needs to prep the area before we can do it. And so I need to, which is fine, I mean, that's still 3 weeks from now.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's, so it's just that's the date we got to shoot for, so.
Well, like I said, when we sat the other space meeting a month ago when I was here, I said, what date do we want to think we'll be ready for this path paving? And the middle of May was the thing. and
I'm sure we did
that
say
was the
that.
spot,
Right, okay.
so.
No, that's
Okay.
great, you got the
Yeah.
equipment, it's just that we obviously have, we've got to facilitate the logistics
Oh,
of
that's
having.
fine, and then communicate with me, because right now will be, as long as we only need it for a day or two, it's a daily rental. Once we get to 3 days, it's a weekly. And I'm thinking with what we did in them couple days, I don't see it being any more than a day.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think,
you
but
get
it's
the
the
thing
biggest
back.
thing gonna be moving it from A to B, walking it from
Yeah,
spot to
sure.
spot, from the school down into the park, up to the other end. That's
Have
gonna consume some time.
you talked to the other towns,
Yes.
Joe, again?
Yep,
Talked to
we're all
others?
set.
Beautiful,
No problem.
well done.
Yeah, so there's a lot to get that all together, so we need to have the contractor commit to having it prepped and ready by a specific date.
Yeah, and I really don't see that being a problem. I mean, it's still roughly 3 weeks from now. I talked to Bob today, and again, and we're scheduled a meeting coming up, so we'll be fine. He's looking to continue to move ahead, so this should
Yeah,
work
but
out.
let's remember though, that the equipment has to do that, he has to go onto the school property, right? So he has to arrange it with the school, can't be during the school days, all that kind of stuff, so he's gotta be doing this stuff on the weekend, so he doesn't have 3 weeks, he's got a couple weekends, so he's gotta be given a hard date to say, you gotta get it done by this weekend, or
Well,
otherwise it's gonna screw up his schedule.
and it's a little trickier anyway, because you're actually paving adjacent to existing blacktop, so he's got, there's saw cutting to do, there's special equipment that's gonna be needed, which, he's well aware of. So, okay, that's good.
Yeah, I just would like to ask that we give him a date, and say, you gotta get it done by this date.
Fine, that's,
We can talk about that
We'll-
date.
Okay, Joe, next topic?
Okay.
Sorry.
Just along the lines, school's not gonna have a problem with us paving that during school time, though.
If that's when you have to do it, then no.
Well, that's, unless they wanna wait till after June.
No.
Okay. All right, we started doing some patching, we had some pretty big pothole stuff out there, so that process will continue here next couple weeks. Our snow machine, the Toro, is put into the summer mode, so we're ready to start mowing as we need for it. I have 6 storm drains on the critical, after this winter, on the critical list that we're gonna start next week. Probably take the next week or so. They're big holes sinking into the ground. One of the oldest snowplow truck, I'm gonna have to tear apart, got some hydraulic issues, might be a little hefty bill for that. And the 1994 backhoe, we end up spending our $1,000 in, for the broke the hydraulic shaft and some leaks and stuff. And also year-to-date, salt usage, we used for this winter, 897 ton, and I have altogether delivered 1,122, so we've got about 200 ton in stock. Hopefully it don't snow until next year.
Be quiet.
And about the only other, I do have one other thing I do have there is the deputy OEM coordinator's position, since I am the OEM coordinator. There are not many volunteers out there for a non-paying position, and Committeeman Spencer expressed interest in it to help me out with it, because I just, like I said, you just can't find people who want to do it for free.
I did.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, you're a deputy coordinator somewhere else, and you can't hold two positions in 2 towns. So I'd like to have Will Spencer appointed as a deputy, so there's somebody here that when I'm not, to at least, if there's something happens, to assume the position, even if I'm on the phone to him or something like that.
You need a motion?
No, that's actually the OEM, believe it or not, that's one
Yeah,
of the
that
positions
is my
that's his
appointment.
Oh,
Me,
okay.
I'm appointed by you, which my
Yeah.
appointment comes up. in
So you're notifying us.
What's that?
You're notifying us of your new appointment.
Yes.
Okay.
So OEM and then registered, deputy registered.
Nelson Tree Service, you're going to do this.
Nelson Tree Service, yes. Nelson Tree Service approached me about staging 2 or 3 trucks up behind the old school. Now, I know there's a couple things going on there, and that is, I said, this is a committee decision since it's township property, if they choose to allow it or not. They're between there and the old Hunter's Tavern up there. They're doing the JCP&L line clearing in the area. They said it'd probably be for a month or two while they were in the area. That is your decision. I know we have plans for a couple things. We got town cleanup. I told them about that happening in June here. I know, talking to Chief Hummer, we got a couple of old police cars up in the park. We got to get them out of there for mowing. We're going to put them up there, so it may become very tight.
Type of workable?
And we may be able to work them if we keep them down the lower end of the fence, keep the alley open, stuff like that. And then when the cleanup comes with the dumpsters, they just might have to move them for that weekend. They did offer up a certificate of insurance. Matter of fact, they forwarded naming the township on the certificate of insurance for parking them vehicles there.
How many?
They said 2 or 3 trucks and chippers.
You offer any free tree services to us?
I could probably negotiate.
We absolutely do that in White.
You know, Stan, I met with Stan last week to sign the paperwork that he notified us of those tree service, and he had said if you have any, I thought he was going to contact you too, and I know he was going to get, they actually did this pretty quick, because he said it'd probably be a month or 2 before Nelson even contacts us.
Nelson was around charting out the town already.
If we have any areas or any concerns on anything, give Stan a call and have it taken care of for us.
Oh, okay, yes.
And you know Stan, right? He said he knows you.
Yes, I have contact.
I didn't know they were going to be going this fast, so I was going to tell you today anyway, but, yeah, so if you have anything you want done or anything you need done, give Stan a call, let him know what the issue is and he'll address it for us,
Okay.
okay?
All right, very good. So I think that pretty much covers everything that I need. I don't know about the railroad crossing, and it wasn't discussed with me.
Yeah. You got anything about the NJBPU, direct install program?
That was, we just talked about, that is the solar.
Okay,
That's a letter and
Okay, that's
about
good.
the solar and stuff. And if the town decides to make
okay.
action on that.
And the only other thing we'll have, oh, you done? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to go to Mike, but go ahead, please.
The Rio Tinto thing,
Mhm.
the fire hydrant thing, I don't know if that's
Oh.
going to go to executive.
We're going to talk
but
about that in
they were-
executive?
Yeah, because that was, yeah, we have to spend money, right.
Yeah.
And I have to approve it as, I looked at the design and the number of hydrants, and
Well, you're staying for executive anyway, right? Because you have a couple issues on it,
Yes.
so.
that is all. Thank you.
Okay. The only thing he had on here, Mike, real quick, Washington Street House, the abandoned property. We doing anything on that? Will has it on here as a question, I guess.
Well-
there.
He asked me that every day, that's in the foreclosure, so if there was something, I think at the last meeting he was talking about, it looked like it was going to buckle or something,
Yeah.
we could send a construction official out, we could either close the thing up or put a fence around it to protect it. If it's
Okay.
gonna, I mean, if it's an imminent hazard, we can go in there and take it down, so.
Proximity to the neighboring house is very close.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
And I think at the last meeting, we talked about it, and I said that the construction official can say, fix it, or we're gonna go in there, well, that's what we don't know who the property is, the property they've abandoned, right? So we could go in and do it and then place a lien on the property. The big question was, we're probably gonna have final judgment and actually own that thing in a month, so, if it's, we're gonna knock it down anyway.
Yeah, unless it's falling down, might as well, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I just don't know how imminent the hazard is, that's all.
Okay. Okay, I think that's it for Will's. Lightning round. We're going to the engineer and the attorney, so we're into the lightning round. Let's go.
All right, sent out my report a few days back, for you with the details. Okay, let's talk about the water main project for a minute. There was a pre-con meeting last week, which was at the American Legion building. Joe and I were there in attendance. It was 25 people? Well, however many, lots of people from every different domain. They're obviously right next door. They seem to be pretty top-notch operation, and certainly if you're going to want to do the right thing, time will tell. They did submit just today, finally, after back and forth, the street opening permit application, and the application fees to the township, which I have the Kathleen envelope. It's fees, so it's only $600 some for the fees to the township. Obviously, our office will be inspecting, they're paying those inspection fees. That check hasn't arrived, but it's supposed to be in the mail. And work is going to commence probably early mid-May. I mean, it's right around the corner. So, and there is actually a lot more work in Franklin than there will be in Greenwich. But for work, they'll be working simultaneously in both towns. So this is full steam ahead. So, any questions about?
I do.
Okay.
I had several residents reach out to me, dual reasons, business related. It's been marked out, and they've all gotten notices that said that work may not commence until mid to late May. Is everybody supposed to deal with a mark out for a month and a half? I mean, personally, everybody's kind of thinking it's marked out a little early. You got gas lines, electric lines, you're coming into mowing season, everybody's concerned.
Well, good point. My property is marked out.
Exactly.
I am an affected resident. And actually, the gas company was marked out the other day, and Verizon was marked out today.
Yeah, the orange and yellow are up there, right?
So, yeah, and then it probably is a little early. But
You want to have a conversation with them on the subject matter? I mean, there's some people right now that have got, 40 flags, and their water hasn't even been marked out yet,
I know.
and stuff of that nature.
I probably have 20.
There's a lot.
I know.
Yeah, and that's some concern.
Okay, that's an interesting point. I never thought about it in the sense of being too early and having to deal with those flags. That's a fair question. Okay, let me talk to them. They seem, this would be a good test case.
Well, because we did have some initial parking issues too, but we've gone through the rough part, I think, and we've gotten them all on the same plane and stuff like that.
I made a big point with them at the pre-con meeting about the park here, and they
Right.
told me that 15 spaces rented out at the future Cannibal pools, so that he's leasing that. So I said, good, because there's a lot of stuff that happens in this building that
Right.
is needed and blah blah blah. So hopefully that will work itself out, and that won't be a problem. Anything else?
Nope, that was it for me.
Anything else? Well, no, not it completely. let's save the park for last. You know about the grant we received, and we're still on hold with that. Okay, the park. A lot of stuff continues with the park, of course. There was, I assume, Kathleen, that the payment request number 5 was on the bill list. It was
27 something, yes.
27,000.
27,440.
Yes.
Okay. I met with Jeff CRC out there today, the contractor for Phase 1, earthworks. He's going to be out next week, putting in the irrigation units, doing the regrading of fields. He's going to work to extend the electric conduits that need to be extended. So he's got his final wrap up. He's going to do some reseeding. He's going to do some regrading, like he's going to take those rocks out. We pounded on the rocks personally today. Obviously the project's active, primarily focused on the concession stand. Talking to Mr. Sampson, he's looking to move forward. We talked just yesterday about the county and the county road improvements. The contractor's a little hesitant to work while it's damp and muddy and wet out there, but so I said, okay, fine, and the county prefers that as well, but got to keep moving along. Change orders, you probably see all the change orders that are getting basically rejected. In most cases, there are some we're asking for additional information. In most cases, there's been no response at all. There needs to be a meeting. Wow. Excuse me. That was some growl I just heard. There's a meeting we're trying to set up with basically Fornicari, Zagoda, myself, and Bob to kind of move this forward. We need to have a meeting. So obviously I'll keep you posted on that as things move forward. Now, in closing on the part, 2 alternate bid items that were not awarded to Mr. Sampson with his overall contract were if you remember, we bid it out last month and no bids. And then we bid it out again, and we got 4 bids on the landscaping, 3 bids on the seeding, and so decent competitive prices and so forth. So I sent out letters doing an award recommendation. I've been in touch with Mr. Lavery on the one, I'll call it bid compliance question we had, which he has answered and resolved, and we're good. So you want to we'll take one at a time. We call the landscaping Phase 3. That's just our number for it. Now, 4 bids. This was the one that there was a question about the bid. Again, Mike looked at it and said, no, we're fine. So we are in a position to award it to the low bidder, Zasper Landscaping, in the amount of $28,000, $28,040. And again, I can't help but, and I hope you had a chance to read the letter, because by the way we ended up doing it with the alternate bid, with the overall project, and not granting that as part of the contract and then rebidding it separately, in this case, we saved $27,000 by doing it this way. So go ahead, and we've saved a bunch on the next one we'll get to. So that's good stuff. So, any questions? Okay, then I would recommend. Mike,
Yeah, no,
we're all good. Okay.
We're all good.
All right. I would recommend a motion to the Township Committee to award the contract for the site landscaping work to Aspen Landscaping, Union, New Jersey, in the amount of $28,040. And we have actually called their references as well, and that's some good commentary. So,
You want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion, it's fine.
I'll second.
Questions, comments, discussion?
Don't we question I had was, with all the spec, right, it's 1 year for the trees,
Yes.
right, and all that kind of
One
stuff.
guaranteed, if you will.
Timing, do you have an idea of when? Is it after the seeding, before the seeding?
Well, we didn't get to,
I mean, as far as when it's
going
gonna
to
be-
bushes and the shrubs. Okay.
Is it gonna plant that, is it gonna be in the fall? I mean, what's the timing on when we think we're gonna be doing the planting for the trees and the shrubs?
I think he's going to do it soon, I think.
That's what I was asking, because with the seeding bid, is
The
it,
seeding bid is more critical, obviously, than the landscaping bid.
but as far as the timing goes, does it make sense to have them do it before the seeding or after the seeding? Because you're gonna put seeding down, you're gonna start sprouting, then you're gonna have another guy come in and start possibly running trucks on brand-new grass. So, we don't have to talk about it, solve it now, I'm just saying we should figure out what's the proper order of it.
You said it should be before, right? The seeding.
I think if you put it before, it makes the seeding
Forward
harder.
now, I'm sure.
No, the landscape should probably be in before the seeding.
Well, landscaping is a lot more independent. The seeding is a lot more
But they're going to bring in a skid steer and moving the equipment from spot to spot over areas that are just seeded. Yeah, no, it's a little problematic, but I think everybody should be able to get together and figure that out.
Yeah.
But it's problematic. There's going to be collateral damage, there always
That's a
is.
project management issue that you guys can...
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I just wanna raise it, that's all.
Let's do a roll call. Yeah.
Expert opinion on some of that stuff.
I'm sorry, what? Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Burton?
Yes.
Okay, Mike, you got another one there, right?
One more, and this is the seeding. And again, this is for, there was an alternate bid component of this too, which was basically the seeding all the way in the back. We kept it as an alternate bid because that's the area that we're thinking that Santini or the farm who's farming the property will continue to grow low-growing crops and keep it at that. The base bid items reflect a lot of cleanup and seeding in the kind of the front of the property where we want to make it what is now old farm residue to lawn. So, got three bids,
And the 10-foot.
and then, yeah, and
Around the whole
and
walking
adjacent to the path, exactly, I'm sorry, that's important. The areas on both sides of the path. So, you see three bids, there's a clear, and the alternate bids as well, which took the low bid with the alternate bid over $130,000, which I don't think is what the township was planning on budgeting for this phase of the project. So, if you take the alternate bid out of it, and basically, let's say we're going to continue to look at that as it's going to be farmed by Mr. Santini, then we're just going to do the front and the areas adjacent to the path. We got a low bid of $72,900, $914.33. Next bid was 97 and change, next bid was 111 and change, so that's a pretty competitive bid. Bid was fully compliant. Mike's reviewed that one as well. Again, the savings that compared to the original Phase 2 bid for this item is $56,000, which is hard to fathom, to be perfectly honest. That is actually that much money we're saving. There was $129,000 compared to $72,000, but that's a great thing. So, any questions? Okay.
So the recommendation is it's just the base portion of this,
Yeah.
and not the
Absolutely.
additional farming, right? Okay.
That
Just
we,
be clear on that.
the township award contracts for site seeding in Thomas Stewart Park to Land Tech Enterprises for the base bid items only in the amount of $72,914.33. That would be the motion.
Okay, I'll make a
I'll
motion.
make that motion.
Second.
Questions, comments, discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Bain?
Yes.
Mr. Crum?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for your diligence.
Nick, do you have anything for
And I
public?
am done, thank you.
Only other I have for executive, Mayor.
Okay. Before we go in, and I guess, is anybody looking to do public comment? Okay, so I'll make a motion, we open the floor for public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to come up to the podium and speak?
Good evening, Greg Glasgow, 1709 Washington Drive. May 5th, at 1 o'clock, we're having a ceremony to honor a few of our members who contributed, since passed away. I don't know if you noticed you have the benches that are on the outside, it has a little who they are. So we are going to be honoring some, so if you wish to come along.
What time, May 5th, what?
1 o'clock at May.
Is that a Saturday?
Come at 12 o'clock and help set up, that'll be greatly appreciated.
That should be out
Is that a
back.
Saturday?
Where's it gonna be?
Right out back here?
No, we're gonna have it
Right.
right here,
Oh, right here, okay.
right here. But, you know, we put the benches on the outside, well, a couple of them are here.
They're coming out here.
Oh, they come out here?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's right.
That's what Louisa told me. There's 2 out there right now, the 2 new ones are coming out.
That's right.
I got my marching orders.
You're right on that, that's right. I got that margin also. Okay, next thing, for the park. Last time I met you, I wanted to put a sign on the rock. The rock out there, I just wanted to, spoke to the gentleman who's willing to put the sign up, contractor. I looked at the rock. I would think that you probably went, if you looked at the worst rock that you could find in the state of New Jersey, you have it. It's just that the way it is, it's cold. I don't know if you actually really looked at it.
I didn't really look at it, yeah.
It's got cracks in it. He says,
Oh, good.
that's not going to be good for that. By the time he fills, he's not going to guarantee it. It's going to be so, he's going to grind so much that you're going to have a hard time. That thing's going to peel off. You know, or someone's going to take it off. One of him. So, recommendation is that you probably put a
Like a pedestal or something?
no,
Post?
on the building if you want to do that.
They're very sensitive about that building. No, right, Brad?
Yeah, I don't know,
That would be going down,
I can't speak to that. I mean, we'd have to,
You don't want to do that now?
I don't mind doing it. Well, we'll bring it up to the open space.
we'll bring it up to them, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know how they feel about it.
I mean, who I have to go to, we pretty much have what the...
What, you know, I've seen other places where it's a pole with a plaque on top of it, kind
I
of
do
thing.
that too, I have that.
I don't know if that's,
I keep on coming up with ideas and, it's sort of like, you keep on coming
well, you could
back.
put it in that round, a pole with a bronze plaque on it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this high or something.
Or if there's something, some way to
Can I get-
put on the
can I talk
pavilion,
with Brad
I don't know.
then? We usually just to work with Brad and say, listen, here's some ideas, you just keep on passing them around.
That's fine, or,
I want
I
to narrow
mean,
this down. So-
what I can do is, if you want to come to the next OS meeting, and this way everyone's there. and they-
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
Well, I'll let you know when it is.
Just let me know. The good thing, I don't know if everybody knows, is that there was another organization who was willing to help fund it, but when they found out how much this is going to be for that sign, frankly,
Yeah, I remember the,
we're going to have to invite her. She's a descendant of Stewart,
hmm
so we have to invite her along.
Okay. Yeah, how's that going? Have you spoken with her since?
Yeah, we had her at the meeting about 2 months ago.
Okay.
Oh, very good person.
So they're still looking to fund the whole thing, and
What?
how much, how's the funding? Huh?
For them, that's a little bit too much. When they found out how much it's going to be, about $2,000 to do a little sign like that, they said that's not really out of their budget. They would have to make it a long-term project. And then when it comes down to, believe it or not, these historical type of organizations, they have to be specific. They got to be certain. So it's pretty intense. I didn't think it was going to be that much.
So they're out of the picture now?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, unless you're going to have a dedication sometime in September or October. That's the whole thing. And we said thank you. And, she's willing to come, to give us a help. We should invite her along. She's interested.
Yeah, sure.
Why not bring her along? I would do that. I'm a nice person.
Okay.
Here's a lot of information. Everything's got to be documented, I's crossed, T's. It's amazing.
So what's the plan on the information? What are you gonna have on the plaque?
I can send that to you.
All right,
I'll send it
okay.
to you. It's just going to talk about, what he's done. He was a surveyor and so forth and so on. And, General in the Army, and the Secretary for Washington, not the first Secretary of the state, but a Secretary for George Washington. We had that corrected, so I can send that to you to pass it.
Okay?
If you want to come down to the next OS meeting, it's May 3rd. It's a Thursday, and it's here 7 o'clock.
It's next week.
May
Or
3rd.
2 weeks. 2 weeks, okay.
We did,
Okay, May 3rd.
May 3rd.
I assume I'm,
I just
Right.
want
Okay, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah.
two comments. So, you're right with that. With the other-
I guess we should, send an email on that.
The new stuff already had that in. All of our old facilities, we had it, and it is a savings for us too. So it is a plus with Joe's working on. One other item, the sewer, I think a couple of years ago, the fire committee, they received a lot of money from the sewer. Has that been paid back?
Paid-
No, it hasn't.
The answer, no.
The answer's no, and we were advised not
It's not
to.
that we didn't think about it, but a lot of residents, including myself, who was in that sewer district, you pay it back, and your taxes are gonna be paying it back. So you're gonna get the tax rates
Yeah,
too.
but there's half the town that received it back.
I understand that, but we can't just charge half the town to pay it back. You're gonna be part of paying it.
But the point is-
And I know the point.
The point is, don't come back to me and start asking for money in the sewer.
No, I'm with you on that.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
Okay?
I agree.
Can't happen.
I agree, but to pay it back, then we're all gonna be paying it back.
Yeah.
So,
Have we passed anything that we don't do those things again?
I don't think we talked about it. You
We
can't
talked
legally
about it,
do that.
another committee could come in and just do another resolution to rescind it, so it's,
I don't think,
we hear you, everything you're saying, we've been through, we've
and
thought.
this committee's committed not to touch it, so, but we only could do what we could do. Future committee could rate it.
So I'm just, okay, I'll just keep it thinking. I just want, one other thing, you're down on Gary Road, they call it a speed bump, no, a speed hump, it's gonna be on the way. Mike, you know that we've done that twice already, and it's starting to cave in again. I know they don't wanna have, some of the residents don't wanna have it fixed, but that's a clear indication is that the, subsurface is starting to fail again.
We're on Gary.
No, right where it's always been.
Oh, the same, okay.
The same spot. Same spot. That's all.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for all you do, Greg.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else wishing to make a public comment? I make a motion to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to go into executive session to discuss litigation regarding police grievance, sewer litigation, contract negotiations regarding shared service with the school district, and 5 different personnel matters. Do we have to give each one or not?
One on the Finsbury drug testing, one on the employee handbook, one on the settlement agreement, one on the labor charging and claim history.
And then there's a 5th one for the fire code inspector. So looking for a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You,
Night, Greg.
you want me to stay for some of these, or?
Okay, looking for a motion to come out of executive session?
I'll make a motion to come out of executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mike, you got a long one here, don't you?
We came out of executive session at 10:25 p.m., where we discussed litigation matter dealing with police grievance, contract negotiations regarding shared service agreement with the school district, a number of personnel matters dealing with mandatory drug testing policy, case employee execution of a settlement agreement on a grievance that was filed, and we discussed claim history. We also discussed some issues with the clerk's office. No official action was taken. Copies of these minutes will be available at such time as the committee determines there is no harm to the public interest.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with Rio Tinto regarding the Greenwich Township fire hydrant system.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, 1 second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Looking for a motion to hire Jeff Haggerty as a part-time DPW employee at 27 hours a week, $14 an hour. You wanna make the motion?
I'll make the motion.
Got anybody second?
I'll second it.
Roll call. Hey, we do the first one by all in favor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
do them all that way.
I know Jeff Haggerty. Should I recuse myself?
I would just, because he's got the votes anyway.
Yes.
So then I'll take that second that Paul took.
Mr. Bean,
I have to recuse myself?
Mr. Ferrone,
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta,
Yes.
Mayor Barsney.
Yes.
For the record, I don't think that would be a real, this is a small town, so a lot of you know a lot of people.
Right.
But it was just,
Well, he's actually worked for me.
okay. that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
And then it was gonna, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, looking
Turns out,
Yep.
A motion to adopt the drug testing policy for police officers as recommended by the labor attorney and the chief of police.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Roll call.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrone?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes. Looking for a resolution to approve the chief's decision in denying a grievance from the police department as recommended by the labor attorney.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrone?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes. Resolution authorizing the mayor to sign off on the unfair labor practice recommendation as recommended by a labor attorney. That's the settlement agreement regarding the medical and retirement. That's what this is about.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrone?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes. Motion to approve the shared service agreement with your Greenwich Township School District.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrone?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mr. Barsney?
Yes. Motion to approve for the attorney to take the action as discussed in executive session. That was regarding the letter
Oh,
to the
correct.
homeowner. I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Yes.
It is late, isn't it?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrone?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes. Anybody have any old business? New business? Motion to adjourn?
Make the motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye. Aye, 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 that's right.
Oh, I can't CFO again.